off on his way.
Oh dear.
Goodness me.
Problems there.
Hey, look at that!
Have you ever seen anything like that?
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.
Hello and welcome to They Think It's All Over. With David and Jonathan is an Olympic cycling gold medalist who described the Olympic Village as a prisoner of war camp. He would have gone faster in his final, only his pockets were full of soil. Jason Queally. With Rory and Gary is a comedian who began his life working in Argos, so expect a 2-hour wait before you get the wrong answer to every question. John Vegas. Incidentally, people think we don't get on this programme, but I can assure you that Gary and David are as inseparable off the screen as they are on it.
Luckily, we actually have found a photograph of you, I think...
Of who?
Of you.
All right.
In your new romantic phase, by the look of it. Have we got it?
Bring it on, Gower.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that.
Sex on a stick, eh?
Where the heck did this come from?
Would you believe the police found it on Gary Glitter's hard drive?
No. You know what? The lipstick suits you, Nick. Was that a new romantic phase, or was this your Stoke rent boy phase? You were the one who didn't have change of £1, weren't you?
That's right. I'm going to go back to Stoke now.
They already think you're a prick.
I know they do.
And I'll just take it with an open hand. No clenched fists.
We open the show with Sporting Bluff, where the teams decide who on the other side is telling the truth and who are lying out of their backsides. David, Jonathan and Jason, it's our conquering heroes, the England cricket team. Here's Graham Thorpe scoring the winning runs to clinch the series against Pakistan in the middle of the night in Karachi.
2 overs and 4 balls left. 2 runs to win. That's through, that's an inside edge. This could be it. Already, Nasser Hussain is celebrating. England have won this third test match at Karachi. Pakistan's unbeaten record goes up in smoke.
Now, the team had to find ways of entertaining themselves off the field during the Pakistan tour. So what did they do, Gary's team?
Brilliant commentary, wasn't it?
Is that it? Was that the best you could do? The English boys' finest moment since W. Gracie Fields beat the Mongolian 11, and all you can come up with is they've won. First thing, they think it's all over, or your boys have taken a hell of a beating. You weren't even watching, were you? I know what you're doing. I've seen him at work downstairs. You were reading Deirdre's casebook, weren't you? While the Mongolian ladyboy gave you a back rub.
It was the emotion.
What emotion?
No, that choking feeling, that sort of, with the ladyboy. No,
It's best left there. Johnny.
The England cricket team went paintballing.
The England cricket team went to see Boney M in concert.
The England cricket team played elephant polo. Is there really elephant polo?
Yeah, absolutely, played in the pool.
In the pool?
Nepal.
Oh. I thought it was elephant water polo.
That would have to be a big pool, wouldn't it?
That's what I was thinking.
Paintball. Do they paintball out there? Because most unions I've met, they've already got a spot up there anyway, so you wouldn't be able to tell when you hit them, would you? Hey, come on! It's Christmas, they're not watching.
My wife is.
By the way, she asked me to send you her best.
Thank you. I've missed it.
I haven't.
Jason.
I don't know, I'm thinking along the lines of Gary with the elephant polo, but the thing I always get confused about is which ones have the big ears. Is it the Indian Lineker or the African Lineker?
Yeah.
It's a very fair point. I do know the answer.
Do you?
It was Boney M, wasn't it?
So you think that Gary was telling the truth? Let's see if you're right. Yes, indeed, Gary told the truth. Mike Atherton led a group of England players to see Boney M in concert. Radio listeners were stunned recently when they heard that Darren Gough was fielding in the Test match, upside down, standing on his hands. Mind you, that was just after they said, and we've got a lovely cake here from Phil Tufnell. Gary, Rory and Johnny, it's Tottenham for you and their German midfield general, Stefan Freund.
Still not away. Nicely taken by Campbell. And he sets up Freund. It's off the angle of post and crossbar.
Now, despite being renowned as a bit of a hard man, Stefan Freund was once reduced to a blubbering wreck. But why, David's team?
Stefan Freund cried when George Graham shouted at him during a training session.
Stefan Freund cried when he was allowed to take over Jurgen Klinsmann's shirt when joining Spurs.
Stefan Freund cried when the East German secret police ordered him to spy on his teammates.
If it were Klinsmann's shirt, it would be covered in mud at the front.
Yeah, and have Klinsmann on the back.
Gary, when you left Spurs, who took over your gym slip and ballet shoes? I'm not slagging off Spurs, because Spurs always invite me to their end-of-season party. You can never go, because I'm always busy at Christmas. Footballers and spying. I know that Dwight York has some surveillance equipment, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I think he's working for the Israelis, because I read somewhere he'd gone deep into Jordan.
David, did you spy?
What?
Did you spy?
Why?
Yeah, he was 007. Oh, no, that was your batting average.
Rise above it, David. Johnny, speak to him again, because he doesn't do Northern. He hasn't got a clue what you're saying.
I'm looking forward to dating someone from your family.
Who are you?
Someone you got stuck with.
Is that your George Graham impression, Johnny?
No, this is my trying to introduce a rugby league theme to the show. Do you remember that other sport that just gets passed over every week?
Well, we can only do the sports that the BBC have got, so that's World's Strongest Man and football at the moment.
I think the other two seem a bit absurd. The spying thing's an obvious one.
You think it's the spy?
Jonathan.
You think Jonathan's telling the truth? Let's see if you're right. So Jonathan was right. The East German secret police tried to coerce Stefan Freund into informing on his teammates in the West. When the Tottenham players discovered Stefan Freund's mysterious background and communist past, they immediately came up with a nickname for him, Freundy. And at the end of that round, David's team have 3 points and Gary's team have 3 points. Now, we always welcome reviews on this programme, so we were honoured to discover that this week we had an internet review from none other than David Icke. The whole thing is presented, he said, by what appears to be a tub of lard with a mouth. Also in the gang is another tub of lard with curly hair who apparently has it in for the Beckhams. And what's so funny about making out week after week that David Gower was a rubbish cricketer when he wasn't? Am I missing something? Well, David Icke now lives in retirement on the Isle of Wight. It's a lovely spot and just a short walk to the mainland.
Is that right, David? So,
sorry, what?
David Icke, who actually believes that the royal family are lizards from another planet, thinks you're a good cricketer.
Well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad, is it?
Time once more, and how could it be more apt to ask what's going on? David's team, have a look at this.
Yeah, you see, every time I see that picture of Daniela Westbrook, I just think, what a hideous waste of a beautiful young woman. She's not watching. She's pumped up to the eyeballs.
Sorry.
There were some pawns on bikes there.
Jason, do you have a bell on yours? What about a basket at the front for all your groceries?
If Hovis are interested, they want to do some sort of advert with me, with a bike and a
I'm
basket.
very interested.
Well, you know what? I'm glad it's got a bell on in Australia, because they should have that over here, because many's a time I'm washing your home and you're racing around in your flash suit, and I think any second now there could be an old lady steps in front of you, possibly pulling a tartan wheelie shopping bag, this time of year out of her head on cheap sherry and tomazepam, still mourning the death of Victor Meldrew, blinded by tears. You come up, it's all over.
Jonathan, you're a bit of a cyclist, aren't you?
Am I?
You got your little chopper out last week.
Can we have a look at it one more time? I've forgotten it all.
I know what it is. It's baby Brooklyn's first birthday party.
That was far more lavish. You see, a lot of people speak out against genetically mutated foodstuffs, but I think those shrimps, not only a pleasing size, the fact that they can cycle themselves from pub to pub and offer themselves to has got to be a major step forward.
Well, it's the closing ceremony, isn't it? It's the Olympic, whatever it's closing ceremony.
Yes, well
No,
done.
we got that far right.
Brilliant.
But didn't they invent the sort of...
Inventions, I'll give you 3 points for that. 3 points, yes, well done.
Hold on, Nick.
Yeah, that was from the closing ceremony of this summer's Sydney Olympics. They were all celebrations of great Australian inventions. The prawn on the barbie, the lawnmower and the Hills Hoist washing line. The ceremony also included water buffalo on scooters, inflatable giant chickens and roller skating crocodiles. The Chinese swimming team immediately broke down and confessed. Gary's team, for you, it's last week's Davis Cup final between Spain and Australia, and we want you to pay particular attention to the Australian team's Zapata moustaches.
I know, sure as hell, if we played in Australia, it wouldn't be like that.
Now, how do you explain the fact that every single member of the Australia team, except Leighton Hewitt, grew a Zapata moustache for the final?
You say Zapata, I say Zapata. Zapata. Zapata.
You had a lot of facial hair on your team last week, and this week I've noticed they've put slightly heavier set gentlemen on either side of it. It looks like, for me, it looks like a couple of pork butchers guarding a wingnut.
How many gears do you have on your bike?
Just one.
Oh, right, that's good. Because when I change gear, my chain comes off. What should I do about that?
Don't ride the bike.
Not wear the chain.
But Jason, when I'm cycling occasionally, which isn't often, I admit, but occasionally I go to the gymnasium.
What sort of a bike have you got?
It's a gymnasium one. It's got no wheels.
Yeah.
But when I'm on that, I'll tell you what I've noticed. I occasionally get what can only be described in medical terms as a clammy arse crack. Now, presumably, you being a bicyclist have encountered this, and not just a bicyclist, a medal-holding bicyclist.
Yeah.
Is there a specific cream or product one can recommend?
Yeah.
A bicyclist?
KY jelly comes to mind. That's a pretty good product.
What about his problem, though?
That transfusion he had in Karachi worked the business, didn't it?
Actually, at the Olympics, after I was racing, I had a boil on my backside.
Am I right in thinking that the Olympics, it was something of a... It was a bit of a love fest
Sporting
going
event.
on. I hear there was a lot of cross-pollination going on.
I wouldn't know about that.
Well, you wouldn't know because you had a boil on your arm.
Exactly.
I mean, you wouldn't have been invited to the big parties, obviously. But let's face it, better not, he's got a yellow beacon flashing on his arse.
Still, he can drive you home.
Even the Romanian... Well, I suppose that even the Romanian gymnasts would have turned you down. It's all right, they're not watching, it's Christmas. And they haven't got TVs.
It's a tribute to somebody, isn't it? Who's the trainer? What's he called, the coach? The Australian side.
John Newcombe.
John Newcombe, he's got one of those, isn't it? Is it anything to do with that?
It is, it indeed. It's a tribute to John Newcombe, 3 points, well done. It was, in fact, the Australian team's tribute to their retiring Davis Cup captain, John Newcombe. The Australian team all agreed to grow Newcombe-type moustaches, but 19-year-old Hewitt sadly found himself incapable of growing anything on his upper lip. Leighton Hewitt has been described as a man in a boy's body, which takes some of the pressure off Gary Glitter. It's not the first time a tennis player has grown his hair in tribute to his coach. Pete Sampras began the idea when he was coached by Clyde from Every Which Way But Loose. And at the end of that round, David's team have 6 points and Gary's team have 6 points. It's author time now as we read out a pair of sporting quotes and ask from whose mouths they originally spewed. David's team, you're first.
Does the man not know the meaning of cretin or moron? A cretin suffers from a thyroid deficiency. It's from an 18th century French word and was directed at people living in the valleys of the Alps and Pyrenees. In some cases, it led to dwarfism. And I'm 6 foot 5 inches, for goodness sake. A moron is an adult with a mental age of 8 to 12. I'm more advanced than that.
You know, it's made me realise those Hallmark cards are marvellous. There is one for every conceivable occasion. You see, seeing that quote, immediately, you start thinking about David Beckham. And I'm not going to do any David Beckham is stupid kind of jokes on the show. And I'll tell you for why. No, thank you. At the weekend, I received the most moving letter from David himself, in which he said how hurtful these kind of comments had been to him and Victoria, and how he wished that we could maybe stop or look elsewhere for our rude and laddish humour. And I tell you, it was one of those most genuinely touching and moving letters I've ever read. The fact that he used a different colour crayon for every word was so thoughtful.
Come on.
Even the audience will tell us to hurry up now.
What you've got to remember is Jason cycles abroad a lot, David's been abroad, and you know nothing about sport. Anybody else will know this.
No, don't be stupid, they wouldn't. Do you know this?
Yeah.
You don't know, you're just saying yeah.
They do, everybody knows.
Well, can we ask the audience? We've only used 2 of our lifelines.
You've used all of your lifelines, mate, a long time ago.
All at once.
OK, any ideas over here?
What's the Villa goal?
Excuse me.
That's David Zimmer frame you've knocked over. How's he going to get home now?
Cretin is actually from the French chrétien, which means Christian, which is what they thought Christians. That's true, and I told this fact to David James, the goalkeeper of Aston Villa.
Is the correct answer for a bonus point. Well done. And
they honestly expect us to believe they knew it.
They did know it. They did know it.
Is it commonly known?
It's commonly known. It was all over the papers. It was the Aston Villa goalkeeper David James responding to being called a cretin and a moron by the world's greatest sportsman, Paolo Di Canio. Only last Saturday, with the Everton keeper lying injured, Paolo Di Canio plucked a cross out of the air rather than nod it into the empty net. So he not only speaks better English than David James, he's a better goalkeeper as well. Di Canio also seems to have problems getting on with his West Ham teammates. He says, for some reason, they became obsessed with the fact that I wore long socks. You guys are pathetic, I said. The elegant man wears long socks, not those little short ones. You have no sense of style. You dress like Germans. Look at you with your disgusting little white socks. They exacted their revenge by cutting my socks to shreds, or by hiding my shoes and putting spiders in them. Oh, and one more thing, Paolo. That wasn't mayonnaise on your chips. Gary's team, listen to this.
Fielding has become top of the list of occupations, during which I think to myself, what else could I be doing over the next 3 hours? I look round and think, why am I dressed like this? Look at these flannelled fools.
It's a cricketer.
Right. Is it true that you're going to be a priest, Johnny?
Yeah.
It's incredible. You was going to be a Roman Catholic priest, isn't that fantastic? And you gave it up to come on here.
My body went through changes.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciated I had urges.
Right.
Met David. That ended. Now I'm going back to the priesthood. You promised to be gentle.
No, I know you're lying.
You told me I was your first. When you said put on the dog collar, I didn't know what you meant.
Are you suggesting it's our very old friend? Sorry, David.
Are you going for David then, Johnny?
Just let me enjoy this moment.
OK. So, Johnny, who do you think it might be?
That's what you said last time.
Jonathan!
No, you're Johnny!
Is it father-in-law?
We think it's David Gow. It's the correct answer for 3 points, yes. The answer is, of course, David Gow. It was from an interview in The Independent in which he admitted that he now hates playing cricket. David is, of course, a wine buff and says his most expensive vintage is a bottle of Haut-Brion, which he's keeping until he has something to celebrate. He's had it since 1974. And at the end of that round, David's team have 6 points and Gary's team have 10. Time now for our regulars to grasp hold of a sporting god as we play Field the Sportsman. David and Jonathan, you're first this week. If you'd like to take your positions. OK, blindfolds on. You have 90 seconds to work out who you're fondling. And can we have our first mystery guest, please? OK, time starts now.
Oh, he's a big fella. Hey, what's going on there? Have you been slapped?
Oh!
I don't really think I want to get close to this. What's this bloke doing? Ah, what's that? You want to be careful, you do that again, I'll get me cock out. Really, sir? Oh, shit! This is getting dangerous, Harry. Stop him with the violent movement. What are you doing? He's hitting me with a small handbag, is it? It's a Conker. We've got one world champions, British champions.
Conker champions, Richard Weaver and Mark Tracy. That was a bit...
in a row. 2
no!
weeks in a row. Check it out. 2 weeks in a row.
That's the first time that's had a wash in a long time. Right, Gary and Rory.
I know nothing about sport, but I'm suddenly feeling very good about myself.
Yeah, that's not much to write home about, is it? No, it's pathetic.
I'll be over there if you need me.
Can we have our second mystery guest, please? Your time starts now.
What's that? Is it real? Rory,
Yeah?
this is right up your street.
What?
A lot of oars.
So they're very popular. They got a big round of applause.
Ooh,
it's not the Neville brothers, is it? What's that?
That's me, Rory.
Is it a Virgin train or something? Blimey,
There's a little cox in here. Is it Jonathan again?
are we talking in 8 here?
Yeah.
Is it the what's that? The
Olympic
those
gold
big games that they had?
British Olympic 8
British-
gold medal
Yes,
winners.
fantastic.
Yeah. OK, so at the end of that round, David's team have 9 points and Gary's team have 13. Now, we finalise matters by playing the name game. The leaders goes first, which is Gary's team, which means that Rory's doing the clues. And this time, they have 90 seconds to get as many team names as they can. Pass those
Team
along,
names?
please, to Rory. Their team names.
That's going to make a huge
And
difference.
your time starts now.
Going to be relegated, managed recently by Brian Robson, though. Don't think much longer.
Wigan.
No. Wigan. This is a motor racing team and also a spotted wild cat.
St Helens.
Very good. Nearly gave you half a mark for that. This is a non-league team. The first word is not even.
Odd.
It's the opposite of up. You know when you...
Down.
Yeah, that's it. Well done. Odd down is very good. This is a hockey team from the chocolate factory area of the
York.
Nottingham.
No, you know where Cadbury's is, don't you?
Bourneville.
Now, this is a Sheffield team, and the first word is a bunch of things that hang down from vines. Careful.
Grapes.
Grapes, very good. And it's what you are. Geographically, you are...
Hilarious.
Geographically, yeah. Geographically.
Stunted. Northerner.
Northern, that's very good. The red line on the tube map is the
middle.
No, I'm asking
middle.
you.
Central.
Central, very Grapes, Northern, Central, very good. This is the Scottish Rugby Union team, and the...
So you've moved on to 18, which means that 10 will win it for you. Pass those along to...
Good luck, Jonathan.
OK. And your time starts now.
These, I believe this might be a football team. The second name, you remember in Prince Henry IV Part 1, Shakespeare's fantastic tragic novel about it, and he's called occasionally Prince Hal, but also by his robust friend, Falstaff, who was so brilliantly portrayed by Orson Welles in the film. All right, if you're a cowboy, you wear something on the back of your shoes and you think it is, OK, Spurs, and then the full name of the team would be?
Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, you see how easy it can be if you just pay attention. I mean, I'm giving here and you're not really listening, are you? Man. All right, if you were in pantomime, and you were the widow something, you'd be widow...
Twanky.
And you take off the T. Oh, no, that's not right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I made a slight mistake. No, if you were something doodle-dandy...
Yankee.
And if you were a baseball team and Frank Sinatra sang about a city and he went, so great they named it twice, that city would be called...
New York.
And you'd be a New York Yankee. Well done. The first part of this football team is a town in France which is famous for the Tour d'Eiffel, as well as the amount of dog shit on the pavement everywhere you go. Have you been there recently? It's disgusting. They're meant to be like sheep, these French people. They've got dogs shitting all over the place. They don't even sweep it up. You go there for...
Time thing.
Sorry, that's right. A Paris Saint-Germain. Well done. All right, if you were shooting and you didn't speak very well, all right. I think we've done it. I think we've done it.
David's team have 12 points and Gary's team have 18 points, but... A number of people have asked me about one or two suspicious answers that have come from Gary's side recently. Like when Rory had never heard of Marat Safin, but knew he had problems with his shoes. Were you cheating there, Rory? I have to ask you.
I wasn't.
You promised me you weren't cheating.
I promise. I actually had met Marat Safin the night before.
Right. In a pub in Cambridge.
Yeah, actually.
OK, well, I'm willing to believe you there, but I also believe our auto cue girl, Michelle Livings, when she says this.
Last week's show, I was trying to do my job. Rory came up to me being really flirtatious. I thought, well, typical Rory. He then offers me a bottle of champagne if I give him the answers. Bugger.
What? And so, Gary and Rory are disqualified, and I hereby award this week's show David's team. In a second. And by the way, David, thanks for the champagne.
Boy, you know this time of year, though, you're not just letting the show down. You're not just letting yourself down. You're not just letting the BBC down. You're letting the baby Jesus down.
But then again, he won't be watching. Please forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. So, thanks to David, Jonathan and Jason, Gary, Rory and Johnny. My name's Nick Hancock. They think it's all over. It is now.